There's a story that happened here locally in the Houston area, and you know, this story is horrible, but it's a reason I'm covering this one. It's a now 18-year-old Guatemalan migrant is they can face capital punishment if found guilty, it's a in the unaliving of the 11-year-old next door neighbor. Now, authorities believe the Pasadena, Texas. Now, if you know anything about Pasadena, Texas, in the Houston area, Pasadena, Texas is heavily populated by the Hispanic community. But I'm putting it out there for a reason. The preteen was violated and strangled by the neighbor. It say whose police, it says, say tried to deflect blame from himself by using a similar racial trope. It was two black guys. Now, brothers don't be hanging out in Pasadena like that. Not at all. Now, it say police said that to hide the child's body, it said the youth whose name is Juan Carlos Garcia Rodriguez and entered the country illegally in January, so he's an illegal in this country. It says stuffed it in a hamper and hid it underneath her father's bed. It said Texas law enforcement arrested and charged Garcia Rodriguez with the August 12th death, it said, of Maria Gonzalez, and was hit with one count of capital murder of a person older than 10 years old and younger than 15. In Texas, the crime is punishable by life imprisonment or the death penalty. As he now booked as an adult, Garcia Rodriguez is being held in custody at the Harris County Jail. So he appeared in court for the first time August 24th and bond was denied. It's a young victim. It's a lost her life in her home at the main Village Apartments. An investigation determined that the illegal immigrant, it's a had just turned 18 and moved into the complex weeks before taking her life. It's after the girl was found, it said Garcia Rodriguez fled to Louisiana, and said where he was later captured. It said after his arrest, it said Garcia Rodriguez initially denied harming Gonzalez. The local media reported he told police that he was with friends during the time Maria would have lost her life. However, the alibi did not check out. Later, he told authorities that two black men forced him to commit the attack, adding that they had guns and threatened to take his life if he didn't. As a court documents show that on the day, it's of the young girl losing her life, it said Gonzalez's father saw the long-haired neighbor talking on the phone in the stairwell of the complex before he left for work. It said the Gonzalez's lived in Unit 204 and Garcia Rodriguez lived in Unit 203. It said the apartments were 6 feet apart. They from each other and shared a stairwell. It said Maria messaged her father on WhatsApp. It said around 10:02 a.m. and said someone was knocking on the door. So the dad sent someone to the house to check on the child, but did not receive a report of concern. However, when he arrived home around 2:30 p.m., he discovered his daughter had been mushed in a black trash bag and dumped in a white laundry basket in his bedroom. As the police said her cause of death, was determined to be blunt force head and neck trauma and asphyxia due to strangulation, according to court documents. And the child had been violated during the attack. They say the dad also discovered on the floor a strange silver key. They say once eventually linked to Garcia Rodriguez and shared it with the evidence with the authorities. He said the key did not belong to anyone in the home, so the officers asked around the complex. Garcia Rodriguez's roommate said the suspect was supposed to be moving out, but he had refused to return the key to those living in the apartment. As a result, the roommates changed the locks on him. And one roommate said Garcia Rodriguez stated he had gotten a new job and was moving out and refused to return the key. So the key found at the Gonzalez residence matched the old lock, for Unit 203. It said the key, even before DNA evidence was gathered, helped authorities pin down the Guatemalan as a suspect. Now, the dad is devastated by the loss of his daughter. He said in a statement he hopes the suspect is burdened with the full weight of the law for what he has done to my daughter. It's what he said. Now, this dude just got here, and he's already joined in with white supremacy, blaming black men. See, they know when they come here, we're public enemy number one. They know that. So this is why he chose to blame black men. Why he didn't blame somebody in his own community? Why black men? But they're going to look more at black men, but thankfully, they were looking at evidence and not just running with that narrative of black men did it, right? So that dude needs capital punishment, just that simple. But let me know what y'all think about this particular story. Like I said, they come here legally and already blaming us for stuff we ain't doing.